Welcome everybody to the second edition of the Tasty Times Tasty Planet Back for a Second's weekly newspaper. This main story is that two players making a resurgence in the IW categories. So where was it all this time? Long before time had a name, one player and two player IWs were together. Nestmaster GD was speedrunning at the time, but he was not the huge empire taking records every day like he is last week, I guess. Back then, he was just a regional power, still confined to lab, just like everybody else. What set him apart was that he was going for both one and two player records on laboratory. One day, Nestmaster posted a two-player IW to lab with a time of 2:46 on May 1st, 2023. However, sometime later, it was placed in the one-player category, crushing any time, since two players faster than one player. This was a time before Nestmaster was a mod, so he called for Q Gaming to settle the issue. On March 23, 2024, Nestmaster GD messaged Q Gaming asking, "My two-player record is in the one-player category for the laboratory subcategory. Could you fix that sometime?" Q Gaming responded with, "Don't think there's two-player category for areas yet, apologize." But it was discovered that the reason the two-player records were put in the one-player category is because the two-player categories for IW mysteriously vanished sometime, leading to the two-player faster record being considered Nestmaster's PB, and thus taking the one-player PB's place. Nestmaster, not wanting to have the two-player record on there, removed it from the leaderboard to be forgotten forever. For years, two-player categories were never resurfaced onto IWs, until now. Nestmaster GD, now a moderator, was busy converting some of his times thanks to the problem with the in-game mobile timer. During the making of the first edition of the Tasty Times, Nestmaster wanted to make sure that his two-player longest-lasting records were actually records, so he went to convert them. This suddenly reminded him of a memory of a two-player run he did that was not on the leaderboards. After doing some digging, he found the lost laboratory two-player record. Remembering what had happened, Nestmaster finally added the two-player categories for IWs, restoring everything back, as well as the addition of the two-player lab record being now the new longest-lasting world record. Now for the new world records of this week, which are so numerous. Let There Be Goo, one player, saw a breakthrough on January 31st after the first news update, where Can't Kill Me finally got a 1549 after shaving off 0.03 seconds from the most optimized level in the game, from 15.52, also on January 31st. People were speculating that 15.45 might be the limit for this level, but only time will tell how crazy this record can get. As of now, Can't Kill Me has gotten another 0.02 second improvement on the same day with 15.47. This was until February 1st, after grinding for multiple hours, finally managed to get a 15.46, an incredible 0.01 second improvement, and right next to the human limit, 15.42. Can't Kill Me got a 15.42. Paper Problem one player was destroyed by 5.09 seconds, going from 38.61 seconds of 358 days to 33.52 seconds from Can't Kill Me after seeing the first news update on January 31st. Can't Kill Me went faster by going clockwise through the level, starting from the middle and then upright, and ending at the bottom right, as well as being cleaner with paper eating and eliminating backtracking. Monsterzilla's Hard one player was completely demolished by Can't Kill Me after seeing the first news update, and got a 29.65 on January 31st, slicing 11.17 seconds off of Pissmaster's 40.81 of 68 days. Can't Kill Me was able to eat all the big groups of large houses and didn't hesitate to eat the Godzillas in order to get the record. Tea Time one player was beaten by 0.125 seconds by Nestmaster GD, improving his 16.284 of 307 days down to 16.159. Tea Time is the definition of pure precision, as all you do is try to cut the corners as tight as possible, still eating all 70 teapots. However, Nestmaster managed to skip 2 teapots at the start as they're closer to one path that you can be picked up there, saving some time. Block Shield one player was crushed with a 14.98 from Can't Kill Me, slicing off 5.48 seconds of Q Gaming's 20.46 of 959 days, which was actually the second place for longest lasting record. Q Gaming's record was done on June 18, 2023. Can't Kill Me's was done on February 1st, 2026. Can we just push the blocks faster, I guess? The video for Q Gaming's record was not viewable. Block Pushers, one player was beaten by Dino Dude with the 23.39, cutting off 2.026 seconds from Nestmaster GD's 25.416 of 382 days on February 1st. By being smarter with the pushable blocks and getting them into a good position on the way to the last group of blocks instead of after. He also was cleaner at eating the huge collection of blocks at the end. Can't Kill Me, not wanting to miss out on the fun, got a 22.77 on the same day, shaving off 0.62 seconds, which Dandu speculated could have been done to achieve this record. Can't Kill Me pushed an earlier block and circled the huge group of blocks at the end for a quicker and more consistent ending. Not to be outdone, Dino Dude returned with a 14.78 on Block Shield 1 player, shaving 0.2 seconds from Can't Kill Me's time. In order to achieve this, he just pushed the blocks faster. Well, this really isn't much to commentate on this level. Hover Shield 1 player was destroyed with a 30.45 by Can't Kill Me on February 1st, chopping 6.267 seconds from Nestmaster GD's time of 36.717, 371 days from January 26th, 2025. Even beating this level is impressive, as it's probably the hardest level in the game. Can't Kill Me beat this time by pushing the hoverboard faster, and most notably, not randomly stopping in the last part. Tasty Tanks 1 player was beaten by 0.331 seconds on February 2nd, from Dinodu's 52.32 of 57 days to Nestmaster GD's 51.989. Nestmaster accidentally missed a tree on the far left, but was saved by a 1% tree not getting crushed by a tank at the top, and from there kept the lead. Now we're going on to a lightning round. Time Machine 1 player was beaten by Dino Dude on February 3rd with a 55.15, crushing Can't Kill Me's 11-day record of 55.52, getting off 0.37 seconds from an extremely optimized level. The two were mostly equal, with Dino Dude probably being around 0.1 to 0.05 seconds faster. That is until the last split, where Dino Dude utilized a much faster route, eliminating backtracking and taking a shorter route to the Time Machine to make the difference. Dino Dude wasn't content with the time, so instead he took a more direct line to the Time Machine during the third split and had a better movement overall to achieve a 54.69, 0.46 seconds faster than the crazy route the whole way through. Unfortunately, he made the mistake of assuming that this was the last second failure. Never do that. Next day, Can't Kill Me came back, shaving off 0.05 seconds with a 54.64 by sticking to his route and being faster. Then Dino Dude responded with an immense slicing of 0.64 seconds by zooming out on the first split and having to backtrack for another frog and keeping his route barely missing 53 seconds with a 54 flat. On February 4th, Jinx came back and claimed Q Gaming's Ancient Egypt 1-player IW with a 22.28.92, which had stood for 961 days, all the way from June 19th, 2023, taking it second place on the longest-lasting world records leaderboard. Jinx overall had better movement from being a more experienced runner, and had better routing, slicing off 3 minutes and 24.48 seconds off of Q Gaming's Fossil of 25.53.4. Jinx also beat Q Gaming's third longest lasting record of Feudal Japan 1 player with a 1033.95, demolishing the 1253.1 that stood for 956 days from June 24th, 2023. Jinx sliced off the 2 minutes and 19 seconds by also being faster and using better routing. Okay, I admit it. I just had these records playing in the background and only paid attention to start and end so I could time them. Since they were so long, I didn't feel like finding the differences. But Jinx just couldn't help himself from crushing this time with an amazing 946.92. 47.03 seconds of improvement, being faster all around. Now that this record is under 10 minutes, I might look into changes between the next ones. Feast 1 player was also beaten by Jinx on February 4th with a 32.32, cutting off 0.154 seconds from Nestmaster GD's 32.474 of 66 days. Jinx used a better route in the second split, ignoring the bottom oyster to go to the top immediately and zooming out faster, as well as managing of the items better in the third split. Nestmaster GD would come back the next day using Jinx's better route and some small improvements to get a 31.859, dropping off 0.461 seconds from this incredibly optimized level. Jinx conquered Ancient Rome 1 player with a time of 10:43.38 on February 5th, shaving 7.45 seconds off of Nestmaster GD's 1050.83, with presumably better movement and that new route Jinx had in Feast. On February 5th, Dude finally returned to Meditation Meal 1 player, beating Nestmaster's 52.125 of 6 days with a 51.84. Dude once again revolutionized the second split, being able to eat 4 of the larger statues in the same amount of time instead of 3, and keeping the pace with some movement improvements for the win to shave off 0.285 seconds. Egg Thief 1 player was beaten by Can't Kill Me on February 5th with a 41.9, shaving off 0.363 seconds from Nestmaster GT's 42.263 of 74 days. Can't Kill Me didn't bother with the flowers on the far left of the first split, but it did bother with the eggs at the far left during the second split, which Nestmaster didn't. Then Jinx came in and cleaned up 0.28 seconds to get a 41.62 on the same day. Tea Time 2 player was completed on February 5th, giving a time of 10.696, actually the lowest out of any run on Tasty Planet Back for seconds. Nestmaster GD and his little brother split up the work and met in the bottom middle, and his little brother doing especially well, probably even better than me. Late Cretaceous 1 player was beaten by 22.16 seconds on February 5th with a 21:45.39 by Jinx. Now only with 2 IWs left, he is hoping to probably get a leaderboard sweep, except for Lab. Jinx beat Nestmaster's 370-day 22:07.55, taking after a little more year. But then Dude came in the next day with a 19:01.75, completely crushing the category, a 2:43.64 improvement. Bones 1 player was beaten yet again by Jinx with a 44.59, shaving off 0.21 seconds from Dude's 77-day record of 44.8 on February 5th. Jinx utilized Dude's record better, with less frolicking to pick up stuff, and eating skeletons with way more efficiency. Eating Chalk 1 player was completed with a time of 29.52 from Dude on February 5th. He collected the chalk fast, although the bonk at 23 seconds into the recording could have been omitted. Bone Maze 1 player was narrowly beaten by 0.36 seconds, with Jinx taking the record from Nestmaster GD on February 6th. Jinx was much cleaner at the end of the first split after breaking out of the maze, and able to keep enough time to beat the record, even though there were noticeable slip-ups in the last split. But then, at the end of the day, Dude managed to take off 0.3 seconds with a 152.4. Block Shield 1 player was beaten by Skunk Monkey, an active player in the Discord, but getting his first record. Once again, this 0.25 improvement over Dude's 4-day-old record has little to commentate on, other than eating the blocks at the end faster. Egg Thief 1 player was destroyed by Dude with a signature new route. Dude instead went immediately left in the beginning and circled right to the end of the first split faster. From there, he kept the lead and ate a closer batch of eggs further down in the end instead of up, 1.73 seconds sliced off. After realizing his record was taken, Late Cretaceous 1 player was battered again by Jinx, winning the race to an 18-minute time, saving 45.87 seconds over one of the longest IWs on February 6th. Ancient Egypt 1 player has been completely annihilated by Jinx this week. On February 7th, in the early morning for me, Jinx grinded in order to achieve a sub-19-minute run, a 3:25.92 second improvement to this run he also got this week. Jinx was on a mission here, but Dude just couldn't help himself in the fun, and took back the record with an 18:36.533, taking 16.467 seconds off. And finally, Munching on Mummy's 1 player was beaten by Jinx on February 7th with a 48.78, killing Dino Dude's 73-day record of 49.97 by 1.19 seconds. Jinx used a new route, starting on the down left instead of right, and circling clockwise until he could eat the mummies at the bottom right. From there, he ate all the mummies to victory. The 1 player summon best is 123.43.77. There are 39 world records this week, 19 of which were main level ILs, bringing the SOB down 6.66 seconds over the week. Now the news. Converting mobile times is important. Nestmaster GD has been hard at work converting his times by multiplying them by 1.0425. Because some timers run slower than others, it gives them an unfair advantage in the categories that use the in-game timer. If you want to figure out if your device has this problem yourself, start a stopwatch and compare the stopwatch timer to the in-game timer. If the stopwatch is about 3 seconds ahead of the 1 minute mark, then you'll have to convert your IL times. Some leaderboard fixes this week. Can't Kill Me brought up some issues on the speedrun.com leaderboards, with the level Dino Goo being named Dingu, Rice Mice being labeled Rice Mize, and most notably Bone Maze 2 player being a category but not actually a thing in the game. While these name fixes were trivial, removing Bone Maze 2 player would also remove the 1 player. So instead, the rules just state that Dual Pass, the level replacing Bone Maze 2 player, will be submitted to the Bone Maze 2 player category. The same goes for Beware of Dinochosis? I never know how to say that, and encircled. On the longest lasting records leaderboard, I'm sorry to have missed Q Gaming's IWs and a bonus level that would have made it first, second, and third place last week. The bonus level was beaten and my 2-player lab record was added, so Q Gaming has lost the first place when she should have had it last week. Q Gaming also lost the remaining 2 records to Jinx this week, so unfortunately not a single mention on the longest lasting world record leaderboards ever, I guess. I also forgot to mention Mingfried's Fast Cats record when talking about the record holders. Blindfolded speedruns begin. On February 1st, Skunk Monkey began playing the first level, Let There Be Goo 1 player, blindfolded. Without being able to see, a lot of precision is lost, and the RNG with the frog spawns can be incredibly difficult to deal with. First he got a 138, then a 134 10 minutes later. The next day, Skunk Monkey got a 114, a crazy 20-second improvement. Then an hour later, a 109. Sub 1 blindfolded Let There Be Goo 1 player would be an incredible achievement. For 2 days, nothing else happened, until February 4th when Skunk Monkey finally broke through, and achieved a 50.56, this time with a video. The strategy was to move around kind of like a printer, scanning from top to bottom, and with some lucky frogs, a sub 1 was attained. Eleanor Lamb has been leaving. Eleanor Lamb, a moderator of Tasty Planet 1, creator of the Tasty Planet Final Bite Speedrun.com page, and the creator of the Tasty Planet Speedrunning Discord, has resigned from moderating. The reasons for this are as follows. Can only moderate at night, can't really keep up with the community in one of its most active states ever, and losing motivation in the game. I myself have experienced this many times before, and it's even why I left in December of 2025. I hope everybody understands and is nice about it. The longest lasting world records have completely changed, almost. Laboratory 2 player has been added and is currently the only world record to stand for 1,000 days currently. The rest are just still my other 2-player records. World record holders have also changed. Nestmaster GD is supposed to have 45 records. I changed that. Dino Dude has 39, mostly keeping on to his main level world records, as well as getting some IWs. Can't Kill Me delved into the bonus levels this week, and Jinx went on absolute tear in the dinosaur IWs and other IWs as well. Ming Freak has Fast Cats, Van Cantorus has a 2-player any percent world record, Offluent has the all the way down hard 1-player category, and Skunk Monkey has a block pushers. And that is it for the Tasty Times 2nd edition.